Good morning. It's Monday, January 5th. National Carver Day. This was a day created by President Theodore Roosevelt to celebrate George Washington Carver. No one tell Trump. He will take this day right away. There will be no January 5th on the calendar. It'll just skip straight to January 6th. He's never taken that one away. In 1939, Carver received the Roosevelt Medal for saving Southern agriculture after he developed a method for restoring nitrogen to the fields through crop rotation. For example, rotating cotton with sweet potatoes or legumes, which is a very fun word, since cotton was depleting the soil. See how I said all of that and it seemed like I really knew what I was talking about? Me, a classic farmer. And now, the news. Lots of news to cover since, to misquote America's First Idol, and one of the only 2 elections we've ever gotten right in this country, I was gone. Let's start in Venezuela. As you may know, I already went ahead and released a special episode that was all about Venezuela, mostly covering kind of the history of the country and how we got to what happened on Saturday morning. I think it's fair to say that this is the most popular news podcast in America, probably the hemisphere, definitely the planet, and so I try very hard, of course, to make sure that I am telling these stories responsibly. That goes for every news story. I want to genuinely make sure that I am telling all of these stories truthfully and responsibly, regardless of whether I'm giving somebody a silly little nickname or not. But for this one in particular, because as I have mentioned before, one of my best friends is from Venezuela, and I have seen how important it is to her that people are telling the story correctly, and even knowing that she is literally the only person in the galaxy not listening to this podcast, and that's true friendship. True friendship is not listening to your friend's podcast and being honest about it. It is important to me that for her, the language I use here is word perfect. She and I have had conversations about what's happening in Venezuela, and so for her, I want to get it exactly right. I will not, in this episode, or any episode moving forward, refer to Nicolas Maduro as the president or leader of Venezuela. He was handpicked by Hugo Chavez in 2013, and then he stole the 2 subsequent elections. He is not, nor was he ever, the legitimate president. He is a terrorist. He is not a leader. There is a lot of uncertainty now, but my friend was very clear that she wants more people to understand that Venezuelans are happy that Trump is there because it's still America. And let's be clear, they see Trump for who he is. It's not like they misunderstand Trump. They see Trump for who he is, perhaps better than we do. I will never forget sitting with her in late 2019 talking about Trump. This conversation is so clear to me that I can literally remember exactly where we were when we had it. She said that Trump reminded her in the moment, in late 2019, Trump and America as a whole under Trump reminded her of Venezuela before she left. The power of the executive branch had expanded. The courts, the media, and the legislature were weakened. Loyalty mattered more than experience or independence. Sound familiar? Now, back then, I remember thinking, oof, that sounds bad. But this is America, and we are going to get out of this as soon as possible. And we did until we didn't, because we went back and we re-elected him. All that to say that they may actually see him better than we can, and he is still preferred, because this offers them a new path forward, back to what voters voted for when they cast their ballots for Edmundo Gonzalez, who ran in place of Maria Corina Machado, who was the leading opposition leader in 2024, but was barred from running. So Gonzalez ran in her place in that 2024 election. That is who won. That's who won the election in 2024. So now that that rant is out of the way, here is where things stand in what continues to be a rapidly developing story from an administration that luckily is totally organized and really has their lives together. And oh no, wait, I'm sorry, I'm being handed a note from the cat that says, no, I'm just kidding. Ruth says that this is a bit and I shouldn't have started it at all. This bit is going on too long. It's actually just, it's the same note from however long ago. I think this is officially my only prop for this show. Obviously, no, this administration is fumbling their way through what could possibly be one of the most important moments in Trump's presidency. First, despite Trump saying that the United States will run Venezuela for the time being, Secretary of State Marco Rubio now says that is not the case. Trump still is saying that is the case, kind of. Marco Rubio says that's not happening. I don't know. The United States will, however, continue the oil quarantine that has been in place for the last week or so. So regardless of whether Trump decides he wants to run Venezuela, which sounds like it's just kind of on a moment-to-moment basis, what has not changed, because this is what this whole thing has been for this entire time, is that the United States will be in charge of the flow of oil. What does all of this mean for Venezuela? It is currently unknown. That's, to be very clear, anybody that's like, well, I know what's going to happen, is lying. I was going to do like a bit, but the fact of the matter is, it is currently unknown what's going to happen next. The vice president is currently the next in charge. This would not be, if their vice president were to continue to stay running the country, this would not be a real change for Venezuelans. Though some in the media are trying to paint her as a moderate, Delcy Rodríguez is anything but. Remember, true feminism means recognizing that women can do anything, including be horrible sometimes. She is the minister for both the financials and oil in the country, two things that have been used to create the humanitarian crisis in Venezuela. She is a loyal defender of Maduro. She has helped put Venezuela in the place that it is in right now. And if she is allowed to continue to run this country, all that will have really happened is a reshuffling, not some regime change that some in the media are trying to make it seem. That's not what this will be, to be very, very clear about that. And what of Trump? His own chief of staff described him last month in an article as having an alcoholic's personality. Now that he's gotten a taste of taking over a country, will that be enough? Has that satisfied that little personality trait of his? No, of course not. Absolutely not. Not unlike his button for Diet Coke. It seems like he's about to press another button for more countries. On Sunday, he again said, quote, "We do need Greenland. Absolutely." End quote. Stephen Miller's wife, yeah, someone saw him, assessed his entire personality, whole thing, took in his personality and was like, I better lock that down before others decide to take him from me. Stephen Miller has a wife, and his wife posted a picture on Twitter of Greenland with an American flag on it. So everyone's taking this really seriously. We're all being adults here. On Saturday, Marco Rubio said this about Cuba, quote, "If I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned at least," end quote. Trump was clear about his intentions in Cuba, quote, "I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now," end quote. Trump also said this on Saturday, quote, "Something's going to have to be done with Mexico," end quote. So that is where things stand on Sunday afternoon as I record this. Gulp noise. Ugh. I don't know. I'm recording this Sunday afternoon. Who knows which countries Stephen Miller's wife, again, someone was like, that's the choice that I'm making forever, will have decided to post about with an American flag over. Anything can happen in a bad way. While Trump acts out abroad here in America, he was forced to chill? Take a Supreme Court mandated chill pill? I don't know. Up is down, left is right, cats kissing dogs in the streets. It's mayhem. Last Wednesday, Trump announced that he would be removing National Guard troops from Chicago, Portland, and my precious City of Angels, who has never done anything wrong ever, Los Angeles, after the Supreme Court declined an emergency request from the administration to pretty please let him do authoritarianism over the holiday break, saying that the troops were necessary to enforce immigration policies. That was what he asked for in Illinois. After the Supreme Court said no, he said, fine, then I'm out of here everywhere. If you're not gonna let me do this in this one place, I'm leaving. The court's official ruling was, quote, at this preliminary stage, the government has failed to identify a source of authority that would allow the military to execute the laws in Illinois, end quote. As a reminder, the military cannot act as the police against its own citizens unless the president invokes the Insurrection Act. Ironically, he has not done that yet. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm very thankful. That's the last thing anybody wants. It would be horrible. I'm just saying, that dude loves an insurrection. Remember when he did one? And then Mitch McConnell let him get away with it? And then voters were like, I'm fine with the fact that he did sexual assault and insurrection because something about eggs. And now here we are. Anyway, in response, Trump said, quote, we will come back, perhaps in a much different and stronger form, when crime begins to soar again. Only a question of time, end quote. The saying is only a matter of time, you absolute dunce. You can't do anything right. I don't even care. Guess what? We know you're going to come back because your dad never was like, do you want to have a catch? It's okay to me that you want to be an actor. I think one day you'll do great in Little Rascals, buddy. But saying, I don't know why this is like, the saying is, it's only a matter of time. You cannot, he's so stupid. Sorry, Mom. I know that when I was in kindergarten, stupid was a bad word, and it still makes me feel not good for saying it, but you know what? Also, he says worse, so I don't feel bad. He's not a smart man. I don't know why I care about that so much. He says worse. In Berlin, oh my God, I forgot that this story was next. This is a tough pivot. You know what? Whoosh again. I've gone off script. We got first regular episode back. Starting the year strong. Thanks for sticking with me or coming new to this show. I'd love to be able to tell you it's normally better than this, but friends don't lie. In Berlin, approximately 45,000 homes were without power on Saturday into Sunday in what the country is calling a politically motivated attack. Some may be left in the dark until Thursday. It is being investigated as an act of terrorism, with authorities comparing it to a similar outage in September brought on by left-wing activists. In Switzerland, 40 people were killed and another 119 were injured after sparkling candles on champagne bottles ignited a fire in a Swiss ski resort just after midnight on New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day. It is one of the deadliest events in the country's history. Absolutely horrific. And that's it. That's the news for now. Obviously, we will have more to talk about the Epstein stuff. For example, you're hearing this on Monday. I'm recording it on Sunday. Congress will be back in session today. Presumably, lots of things will happen today when Congress comes back into session. So we'll cover that when that happens. Until then, we're here. If I can be serious for just like a quick little second, I can be because it's my show. If you'll stick around while I'm serious for just a couple quick seconds is what I meant to say, I guess. There are a lot of unknowns right now. I understand that sometimes it might feel easier to stop paying attention. Right now is the time to dig in, pay more attention. I'm not going anywhere. I don't know if that's helping or hurting, who knows. We're in this together. They would like it if we were not paying attention. It would make things easier for them, which is exactly why we are not going to give a single inch. Stick in this with me, please. Speaking of, now that serious part is over now. Speaking of, the Substack is back. If you were already a subscriber, it is in your inbox right now. If not, it's free. You can subscribe for free. It's been updated a little bit, so now it's like a daily newspaper, all the news that's fit to email. The opinions are not going anywhere, if only wishing made it so. But basically, it'll be like a little newspaper with bonus fun stuff, like my opinions. Plus, if you're only watching this show with your ears through your podcast app, as a reminder, there's also the YouTube. I'm telling you, this show is worth $10 million a year, and yet here I am for you for free. I am so nice, or also perhaps a chump. Guess what? It is also, I'm proud of National Whipped Cream. It's National Whipped Cream Day is what I'm trying to say. I'm also proud of whipped cream. But more than whipped cream, because you're not airy, and there's no such thing as too much of you, I'm proud of you.